Welcome back guys to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the latest range of boards coming out, in particular the latest offering from Vestarboard. As you can see here, I've done a lot of Vestar boards in the past. I was the first person to bring any Chinese board to the Western world with the Cool Wheels back 7.5 years ago. I pride myself on finding the best quality boards out of China, and Vestarboard produce high quality components and really nice, as you can see, carving machines. I still own all these boards. I haven't got rid of one of them because they keep performing. And today I'm so excited to produce the latest offering to show you, and that's the Osprey Carbon, forged carbon with a whole new deck system, integral lighting, and just basically carves are going to be single TKPs and carved like crazy. This could be a game changer. Let's open up, have a look at it, unbox it, and see if it's worth the money. G'day viewers, welcome back to another video. Andrew Penman with you here. Today we've got the Osprey Carbon. It's a forged carbon board from Vestarboard. This is the latest offering. This is a company that provides incredible boards. I'm so excited we're looking at this board tonight. We're going to get it in its element down here in Sydney on the harbour with the night lights. It's going to be fantastic. But today's Anzac Day, which stands for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. We celebrate and respect and think about all the soldiers, returned soldiers, current soldiers from all the big campaigns and theatres of war like First and Second World War, Gallipoli, the Somme, Egypt, and also of course Iraq and Afghanistan. So there are a lot of people around tonight, so we're going to test this out, and it's a fantastic, probably its best forte, and then we're going to take it back. We're going back to the studio, we'll have a talk about the board, unbox it, show you what's in the box. Then I'm going to take you to my first ride and how I thought of this board when I first got it. And last but not least, we'll end you with a little bit of a treat tonight. We're going to do a long range distance test, will be at the end, so we'll also have that at the end for you. So let's get on with it. Osprey Carbon. Okay.
Start workout.
She should come and call
Okay, so here we have it. That's the route tonight, and it was a mini range test. Look at this, 4 hours and 1 minute. 4 hours and 2 minutes. Let's have a look at the 31.48 kilometers. This is absolutely crazy. 31.48, virtually 32 kilometers, and we've got 3 bars still. It's just dropping back down to 2, but we're on 3 still. Just crazy. These Samsung 40Ts, amazing. So Vestar, this is one of the best batteries I've ever ridden. Quite extraordinary for a 97 kilogram rider on hills, burnouts, speed bursts, everything. Crazy. Well, there you go. Nothing more to be said. Welcome back, dudes, dudesses. We're back again for another video unbox with the Osprey forged carbon from Vestarboard. Thank you to Paul for seeing this board for an independent review. For those of you that don't know, I do electric skateboard reviews. Been doing it longer than anybody else, 7.5 years. I get quite involved and quite drill down quite deep to these things. I'm an electrical fitter, engineer, mechanic. I'm also a pro rider. I know how these things work on machine, lathe work. I can do I've built my own folding board. So I need to look at these from the manufacturer and really review them in accordance with how they're presented to me. Right, now we saw the long range distance mini test. We'll go into that in some detail in a minute, but today's all about, now I've actually unboxed it and ridden it. I've moved the sort of the video around a bit this time to make it like when I unbox it now, I've actually ridden it so I can talk in more detail about the performance of the board, which I haven't done in the past. Normally when I do these unboxes, I really haven't ridden the board. So I think this is gonna be a better way, get the music up first, get you guys into it, and then we'll talk about it, the specs, and then we'll go and look at the actual first ride briefly, and then we'll talk about my performance, final thoughts, and my rating. So the box itself comes pretty incredibly packed. Out of all the years I've been doing this, 7 or so years, I've never seen a double cocoon foam system on this. Look at that top area. Yeah, that's exactly right. And look at that, there we have it. I think we need to get it out. It's beautifully packaged, so it'll be safe as anything in transit. I think we'll get it out now, have a look at it and go through some of the specs and some of the very special features of this board that I'm so excited about. But does it perform? Does it do what it's supposed to do? Is it worth the money? Let's go through it now. There we go, we got it all out. Okay, so this is the 2-in-1 kit. I'll make this as quick as I can because I want to there's a lot to unpack here, a lot to talk about, and I want to tell you some of the features that I've found that a lot of the YouTubers haven't talked about and why this is such a good board. So first of all, it comes with the 2-in-1 kit with the 97mm ABEC, 78 A durometer, very squeegee, very soft. If you're into road riding, comes with a beautiful hard case, like a camera case, with a dual zip system. Inside we're sporting a really nice remote cover. It's a lovely case that holds the remote. We'll go through that in a second. It also protects it with a bit of a place for your leads there on the netting and webbing. Brilliant. Toolkits as normal, both bearings large and small for the pulleys. Chargers sporting a 56 volt 5 amp fan and fused beautiful modular anodized, really one of the best looking chargers I've seen. That is a great little extra bonus throwing in with this particular board. Let's look at the board now. Obviously the first thing you're going to look at is say, well, it's got the same hexagonal look like a lot of boards have got. People talked about looking like an Evolve Hadean. I don't see that at all because of basically that on the bottom. It's a very different board altogether. I see that the Evolve Hadean as being like every other board. I don't see this being particularly like it. I don't know, I just see it completely different. So we'll talk about some of the incredible aspects of this board in a second, but I wanted to take you through the quick measurements. 39.9 inches, 10.5 inches on the top of the stringer, and then of course 9.5 on the inside. A lovely W concave, just perfect for the sole of your foot. It's a really good design. The slight 1/2 inch kick at the back and the front. I'm loving it. It actually is a really nice deck. This is a deck that I've been looking for a long time. I've already got my shred light brackets on the front. It's a beautiful deck. You'll also notice the weight is pretty heavy. It's going to be 14.4 kilograms with the all-terrain kit. These wheels, they're 7.1 inch. They're a beautiful tyre. Let's talk about them now. They're a pneumatic, unidirectional, wet, slick tyre. Very similar to the Hota, a little bit tread. I'm loving that look. Now we're going to talk a bit about this deck, because this is where it comes into its own. I've got something here, a Kinder Surprise. I'll just open it for a second. It's going to make some sense in a minute. If I open this up, the Kinder Surprise, you'll notice when you open the Surprise, it overlaps the top and bottom and locks down airtight, watertight, moisture tight. That's the best analogy in a way for this board. Most people are talking about, oh, you can adjust the battery, you can put a battery in, it clamps down. So what it actually is a bottom base and a top's bigger, and it slides telescopically over. So you can adjust the size of the battery. Unfortunately, when you do that, you do drop the bottom down, you're losing wheel clearance. They could have done the other way around, so as it telescopically goes up, the height would go up and the wheel clearance would stay the same. But look, hats off to Vestar for doing this. There's a patent on this, so don't bother trying to copy it. I was concerned about the squeaking of it, thinking it might squeak. Doesn't squeak at all. It is perfect. What I like about it is the moisture waterproof potential of this is incredible. Think of a small umbrella and a big umbrella overlapping it. Pour water over. You can see in the corner here with the example of 2 jars or 2 bowls. Works beautifully. The tissue is still dry. This is what I love about it. So this is going to be incredibly waterproof on top and underneath, because there's no entry points, not like the Evolve, the battery's hanging its ass out the bottom and all these issues. It's just a great idea. Love it. So people are overlooking the moisture waterproofing aspect rather than the adjustable. No one's mentioned that before. This is one of the extraordinary features of this board. I think it is exceptional for that aspect. If it rains and you're caught out somewhere, the next feature I love is the on-off switch and the charging port at the back. Not underneath, not getting wet, not getting damaged. It's on top here, easy to use. Plus it's self-roll auto start on this particular FOC. I'll talk about it in a second. If it does rain though heavily and you're riding it, this will be waterproof. Everything's fine here because of this concept, this whole Kinder Egg thing. But with the water sitting in that little recess could cause an issue. These have been siliconed and waterproofed and also heat shrinked. But what I would recommend is a little Andrew Penman hack modification is to grab some blue tack, a strip like you can see here, just push it over the whole thing. It seals it, ride home, peel it back off again, and it's all waterproof. Great little option to have a bit of blue tack in your pocket, very important. That covers the deck, the first thing. Second thing is the on-off switch on top with the port. I love that. The third thing about this board I really love, bottom is all beautiful forged carbon, and it is a forged carbon board. What is forged carbon? It's a concept come up just recently in the last few years to really better affect the matting of carbon on Formula One vehicles, motorbikes, surfboards, where the matting would crack and split. This doesn't. The tensile strength of this is many times more than steel. With the carbon forge, they compress it under a high compress, and then they obviously finish off with a beautiful epoxy finish. But this is such a beautifully heavy and industrial version. They've used a high industrial vacuum press, probably 6,000 pounds per square inch. This is done properly. This is like a piano finished surfboard. It is incredible. You haven't got anything on the bottom here. It's just a beautiful finish. 12-inch trucks, and we're rocking the TKPs or the standard kingpins, not the double kingpin. I'm not a big fan of double kingpins anymore. They're too sketchy high speeds, and they just become really problematic when you're sort of performing where you want it to hold in. And these perform beautifully. I'll go into the details of the board after that, but just go through the specs now. The bushings could be improved. They're a 96A. They should be dropped down to a 68A and a tighter fitting bushing on that. Otherwise, it's pretty good. The angle on these trucks are pretty seriously angled, so they're giving you the same effect as a reverse kingpin feel. It really is a tight carving board for a single standard kingpin. I absolutely, I absolutely love it. These wheels are just incredible. The rims are all CNC milled. They've got the 6-spoke hex. That's the third thing I really like about this board, is the truck system. The fourth thing I like about this board is the integrated lights. Well, I got upside down, I'll show you now. You've seen it on the day. They're integrated, they're flush finished, they are beautiful, high quality LEDs. My original SUV still goes after 4 years. The lights haven't faulted at all. The lighting system also incorporates the back as you can see, into the beautiful brake lights. So when you brake, it overrides those as well. Okay, and we'll just show you the lights. So it's an auto start on. We turn the remote on. Comes with the Vestar symbol. You won't get this remote confuse other remotes. So to turn the lights on, you hold the bottom button on and the lights come on. And they will start off with a red. They oscillate through the color scheme. The back light is always on generally when the board's on. Of course, to activate the brake lights, you just brake and they will work on both the undercarriage and the back of the board as well. Beautiful. Then when you let go, they go back to their sort of rotating colors. Of course, then after about 30 seconds, it stays on a blue, kind of white blue, which is really nice. So yeah, just a beautiful finish, and it comes with this lovely solid. It's not just a cosmetic, it's a really good Bash motor guard protector with this beautiful snaked, high finished carbon netting on the cables. It is really a beautiful board. It's sporting Vestar logoed belts, HT belts, their gates, their Kevlar on these belts. Just a beautiful finish again. Really is lovely. The whole board itself is aesthetically very impressive to look at. The whole issue is keep it simple, stupid. Like, this is a simple remote that just works on the back of the Lingyi. Let's talk about that. It's obviously a custom vest. It's a 54 volt FOC field orientation control. It's been custom designed for Vestar for these motors. We'll go through the motors in a second, and the curve on this is simply exquisite. It's just perfect. The remote looks like they're saying it's a magazine for a gun. It's not really. I've never seen a magazine with finger grips on and you couldn't touch a magazine because they get too hot. It is actually like a machete handle to me, and it fits like a machete handle, so that's what I'm calling it, machete handle. It is beautiful to hold, but you definitely should put a lanyard on because it has no lip at the top, no hammerhead, so it's easy to slip. I slipped through once and dropped it, but other than that, I'm absolutely loving it. OLED, beautiful battery on it, didn't even go down one bar on the ride, exceptional. Now let's talk about the motors. The motors on this board are a 195 kV. They're a 3,500 watt custom motor with a lovely finished knurling on the outside rotors, and they are sporting V magnets, and also it's got a tremendous amount of torque and power. Probably most of the reviewers are saying it's up there with the fastest board they've ever ridden. This, I've reached 62 kilometers per hour, 63, going down a hill. That's when the remote kind of slipped and I had to take a corner off, so that was why that comes so fast. But yeah, these motors are exceptionally powerful, torquey. When I got my hill climb here, I'm always fully accelerating, and then it builds up. But this board actually is still pumping, is still biting, going up in pro mode, which is really impressive. This is a very, very powerful board, probably the most powerful board I've ridden next to the Zilboard and the Equil GTX planetary gearing. Exceptional motors, working on a field orientation control, as I said, no hall sensors. This is a really, it's a beautiful build. It's put together incredibly well. So top speed on the street wheels, you'll get 70 kilometers per hour if you want to do that. You'll probably get up to 53 on these. Like I said, I've got a bit more, but yeah, it's an incredible piece of gunpowder takeoff if you want that. Now the next thing, range. Okay, so battery options in this board, you've got two. There's the first one, the one I've got here, which is a 13S4P. Yes, 13, not 12S4P. They've got an extra battery in each of the series, and the other option is the 13S8P. Okay, so the reason they're doing that is for the 140 draw rate. But this is actually a very clever way of, and I think it's the best calibration of the battery. So this one's a Samsung 40Ts. It's doing a 748 watt hour or 16 amp hour, matching that with the Hadian, but really it's got more, that extra one cell in each battery series. So looking at 4 extra batteries. With a 13S8P, it's rocking 1,872 watt hours or 40 amp hours. Crazy. So I mean, these batteries, this one's a Samsung 40T. The other one is a from memory, it's the LG 50M 50 ml teeth. They're a beautiful battery, 5,900 draw rate. That would be exceptional. But to me, do I want to go more than 45 kilometer range? Probably not. I don't want anything more than 14.5 kilograms, so that will do me fine. But that's the options on those batteries. They are quite exceptional. You haven't got the battery hanging out the arse at the bottom in the breeze like an Evolve Hayden, which is all just metal bottom. They've cut a big gap in there, so you know, I'm not knocking it, but this is a more finished, it's a more polished, you know, like I said, if you go to a group ride and you're taking Evolve, I'm not knocking Evolve, Jeff's done a great job with it, but Evolve's very rudimentary, very pedestrian. If you're going that, you're looking like, I didn't think outside the box, I always want to Evolve. It's like driving a Toyota Corolla to a rally. You get something like this, and this is it's a pristine high performance board. It looks good. Vestar, I just love the whole signature of it. I love the whole feel and the whole look of it. It is exceptional. This board is really punching well above its weight for 2,500 Australian dollars. That's $1,000 cheaper than the Evolve Hayden as well. So you've got to factor all that in when you're purchasing stuff. This is a beautiful board. But you know, hats off to Vestar for thinking along the lines of something like this deck and the integrated light system. Now, let's have a look quickly at my first ride on this at Manly Dam prior to going to the night ride. We'll cross to it right now and have a look at it. Test out the Osprey Carbon, Forged Carbon. This is going to be the same place I normally come because it's got great conditions. It's a hill climb test. There's a few things happening I can do. I'm still riding this thing. I'm absolutely loving it. I can't put it away. It's too much fun. It's like snowboarding for the first time. Whoa! Okay, so obviously you can see how excited I was. That little mini hill climb I had on just the medium speed, and it was still biting up there. So if you're a hill climber, and I weigh nearly 100 kilograms, this is just ridiculous power. Also a weight rider up to 220 pounds, 120 kilograms. So if you're a big guy, this is the board for you. Other boards just won't cut it. Look, I don't know much more to say about this board. I am still trying to take it all in. You know, you've got to be careful when you buy something. You've got to have future proofing. You've got to have, you know, performance balanced with aesthetics and looks. You've got to have also safety aspects and just a good name behind it. 12-month warranty. You can't go wrong with Vestarboard. They've been around for a long time. This was the intro. I've been doing these boards for a long time. I've still got them all, except I lost one in the water, which is a funny story, but we'll save that for another day. Yes, where are we? 100% yes! So today, the idea button is on, the button for the deck, the button on the top, the new controller, the new remote, the whole casing, the camera case, and it goes on and on. So so far I've ridden it for about 5 hours, and I'll say now I haven't got one single problem. The only thing is the bearings at the front were a bit loose. They had a built-in spacer. The actual machining of the rim is too deep. I told Paul that, so I took those out. No matter how much I tightened, they still rattled a bit because they machined too deep. So the way to get around that is put two normal bearings in. You don't need a spacer because it's got metal inserts anyway. That was that. The bushings could be improved with a softer bushing on a 68 72. The remote is really good, but get used to not having a top, so definitely wear your lanyard. When you get used to it, it's a super light remote. This is the lightest remote I've ever felt, thinking light equals cheap, but it doesn't. It is a beautiful quality remote, but the light weight of it makes it so refreshing to hold. It's just beautiful. That's about it. I can't really default this thing, and I think at the end of the day, performance-wise, I'm a pro rider. This is more than matched my expertise. In fact, it's a bit damn scary. It's so powerful and so torquey, but it carves beautifully thanks to these single kingpin trucks. TKPs are the go. This battery is the go. This deck, the carbon of the beautiful forged compressed finish. That is just to die for. The overall look is beautiful. Guys, I hope you think that was worthy today of me talking quite highly of this board. The rating today, as you saw, was 9.9 out of 10. I'm going to continue after that night ride. Probably I can't go to 10 out of 10, but it's still a 9. Maybe it's a smidgen of a 9.9 rating of this board. I don't sell them. I don't have any affiliation codes. I just review them. I'm privileged to get this board to review. Thank you to Paul and the team from Vestarboard. This will probably be my top 3 now, which is a big call. And so you'll see me ride this a lot more now because of just the stability, the safety, the security, the features, the functions, the whole look is beautiful. So Vestar Osprey forged carbon, you've kicked it out of the ballpark, and I absolutely am blown away. So stick around for the long range distance test, the real one. That was a sneak one, and stick around for the next cloud wheels, new wheels coming out, going to be the new Rovers. Exciting. So guys, if you haven't considered subscribing, consider subscribing. You may not find me again, and you know, it helps a small channel, and honestly, you know, you won't find this level of in-depth probably much else around. So thank you so much. So till next time guys, as always, happy skating, safe skating, and we'll see you in the next video. Unfortunately no music, you've already had it. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Riders on the storm, riders on the storm. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone, an actor out alone. Riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday. Let your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet family will die. Killer on the road. Girl, you gotta love your man. Girl, you gotta love your man. Take him by the hand. Make him understand. The world on you depends. Our life will never end. Gotta love your man.
Whoa, that was a big video. I hope you enjoyed it, but in-depth is worth it when you want to buy one of these things. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're still here, check out some of these other videos in the same kind of style. Awesome.